this is IBM Museum, and I plan to go through and run the diagnostics and other areas on the 5140 PC convertible. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting because, as you remember, I worked on the 7496 executive workstation not so long ago, and I made up, these diskettes um, that the okay, so I've got a freeze up of my camcorder screen once again. That's excellent to know for right now. So I have the boot and the diagnostic and the scratch diskette, of course. Um, the diagnostic's more specific to the 7496, but I thought going through for the boot diskette would be really kind of great. Let me go through, and I just want to make sure I get my camcorder going once again here because it has a static image. Although I'll flip to the running the video capture in a moment here as well. Okay, so at least I was able to get that going. And I'm going to go through and I'll turn off my built-in webcam. And that way I can get turned around. And I've already gone through and ejected. I'll have to stick the label on that startup diskette. But I'm going to go through and put the boot diskette in there. Does the boot diskette go in there? Oh, well, sticky label holds down the slider, and slider wants to move when it's inserted. So it says, nope, I'm not going. Now that it's not pinned down, it likes that a lot better. I'm just going to do a Control Delete. And since we don't have the LCD panel, it'll go through and at least immediately capture, do the video capture. And this should cycle through, I believe, short time. And this diskette is a full booting I want to just try something just for a nice little fun shorter video based on the contents that I have. And at least now I can set the time and date on this unit for having it on. And we'll actually look. And the PC convertible actually does have a Motorola MC14618 real-time clock chip. And so it is the 23rd, 2022. The new time. And we still have my system behind me, at least going through and doing the showing the PC convertible page. Okay, so there's MS-DOS 6.22 running on a PC convertible. We can do a directory. So this even has the edit menu. I'd even like to, I thought what would be kind of neat is going through and just doing the Microsoft Diagnostic. So MSD. And as I go through tonight, leaving here and just coming tomorrow and doing the diagnostic video and things like that on here, I would go through and I'll just suspend the system and leave it powered up overnight, um, or in that suspend condition, and the clock should run for that. So we see for in fact, it'd be kind of neat for me to go through just to show the green screen that I'm looking at here on the PC convertible. And you're seeing it in actually more of a representation of the blue background when I just have black background on the screen here. So I don't even see the highlighting here on the screen for selecting items. It doesn't show it even in that color. I think normally for MSD it shows it as a red letter, like for C for the computer, and that actually does COM ports. So for the computer, I'm trying to remember if we do an Alt F, and here we have the ability to even show those files that they are present on the diskette. Alt. Okay. Black and white for pressing F white. F5, excuse me. That'd be interesting to see. So there it gives a better indication of the letters you have to select. And so I was beginning to think it might be a P for the computer, and it's all the way correct there. It lists the say the BIOS version. It's listing the basic ROM basic string in there, that version C10, or excuse me, 1.10 is the basic, but we have the BIOS ID bytes at F90000, and I think the PC convertible is the only unit that has the F9 designation. That denotes the CPU. It's an 8088 CPU, and it's actually a CMOS version, and it's actually a surface mount. It's a little square chip. I do have a planar, a PC convertible, and that is you got the phase thing going on, which I can go through and correct a little bit, I guess. But the CPU is actually that one. I meant to rotate it to see the lettering. But it's an Intel 80C88. And so that's a PC convertible planar. The diskette drive attachments, the BIOS, and then some static RAM on the system planar for the suspend abilities, and then you have your modules that are below the keyboard. So it sits like this. This is the front of the unit, and the battery actually goes in this blank section here. It's got the IO bus here, and then the power side, the power in for that. And then you have headers for the keyboard up front and for the LCD in the back. So that's the basic layout. That's not a whole bunch for that time frame of 1986 to the system. But let me go through, get back up on the screen, get the video capture back up. And keyboard, yeah, it's non-enhanced, but the processor is an 8088, as I point out, and there we see the BIOS date of the September 13th of 1985. And then it's an XT or an ISA/XT/classic bus. Really, for this system, it's not. It's the slice is actually a different effective bus type for that. Really, not necessarily XT bus for all that. Just you have these slices you put on, and so it's got the DMA controller and cascaded IRQ2. BIOS data segment is none. There's not on this system the extended BIOS data area. Memory, and it shows 512K. I mean, that was something I was going to do for the memory video, or examining these things to go inside them and see what they had. And it's viewed with the PC convertible. They came with 256 kilobyte of memory early on. That was 2 of the 128 KB boards that were in there, and it was viewed as this was the maximum that you could have with 4 of the 128 KB boards that were made at that time. And then later on they came out with the 256 KB, and then other third parties like the STB came out with their 384 KB cards. And I had those, I still have those at my feet for that video that I want to talk about the memory. I guess I'll have to get to that at for some other video. I decided to be cool for running the Microsoft Diagnostic, and to show, and that's the video mode for this monochrome actually comes out pretty good for no network, the OS version, that MS-DOS 6.22. And so there's that information. The mouse is not detected, of course. There's not any, I could put a slice on there for that, for the communications port. MSD is still selecting, it's still finding the 3 LPT ports for some buggy reason. It's funny that it shows the game adapter being there, because there's a okay. So and I'm wondering if that is the if that might be on that that display adapter slice. I mean, we're saying that this is the center connection was a light pin, I believed, for see, there's and I'll give a link in the video description for the planer that I showed, show the layout. And scrolling all the way to the bottom, there's your memory card information. Everybody be able to look. Okay, so there's the CRT display adapter. And there's the pinout for it. That 5-pin connector. And they're saying that that is a that's effectively a portion that has composite video on it as well. So I don't know where it's detecting that game adapter as being present on the system. I know for the I don't know if that's just a bug or something else. I know on the for the convertible equipment that it has, there's a storage location and it talks about a joystick present. It detects that equipment. And I don't know of any joystick able to effectively connect onto the PC convertible on its own. Maybe that was some other intention or something else of what was, but just kind of interesting to see. I don't want to go through too much for those lower right hand corner, the hierarchy status or TSR programs or device drivers. That typically is known to lock up the Microsoft Diagnostic. But there's your A and B drive. And just the last drive E being from MS-DOS. So F3 to end MSD, and that was kind of neat to go through and to see that. Let me go through all and I'll just briefly check. I thought I had. I don't know if I put in. Okay, that's easily changed. So copy that. And I just wanted to show that page, and I'll include this in the video description. So there is the page on the PC convertible. And going through just to kind of scroll through, just like I was doing on that system in the background. There's the planer and all the details that people can go through and read up a little bit more on the convertible. There's the memory. Now I have a video on the memory aspect to it, but that's the pinouts I was looking for the CRT display adapter. And so this kind of complements that other video as well for these slices I'm working with to get this video capture going ultimately. And so we're back to the DOS prompt, and I'll go through and do another video on the run the diagnostic and things like that, because I think that should show an equipment list on the system and should be informative. Maybe we can learn a little bit more about that so-called game adapter. But that is a good place to stop. We're just right at about 20 minutes of video. So if you enjoyed this video as well, click on that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.